Hi, everybody. This is Cousin Russ, and I'm joined today with dear Myrtle, my cousin. And
Well,
how are you
Russ,
today?
I'm doing great, but you've been like so buried today in research. What the heck is up with that?
Well, we had this conversation. Actually, your blog post about the Docu-Challenge got me
Oh,
going down to a certain record group.
mm-hmm.
And the conversation we had last night with your very distant cousin JoJo said, I'm going to follow up and see what I can do in Family Tree Maker to see what I would do with this learning that we had last night.
It's
So
all
I
about
want to,
those index cards for Civil War pensions.
it is, I'm going to talk
Hmm.
specifically about the Civil War pension index cards, but
Oh,
I'm taking my hints from Ancestry.com. So I'm going to see the. We talked last night about you always need to look at more than one place to get your information. Well,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to start on the Ancestry.com side because I get shaky leaf hints. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to start with that shaky leaf hint, and now I am in Family Tree Maker. And as I normally am in Family Tree Maker, I'm going to start on, let me get the right screen over here.
It's
Uh,
okay.
I,
While
this
you're
is, this is, go ahead.
while you're doing that, I had to watch the recording on my YouTube channel to find out just what JoJo said to you last night because it was very informative. And I'm thinking that you decided to take it a step farther and see if any of your people had Civil War index cards at Ancestry.com.
I did. And I've been I've been using my Ancestry member tree as my place to manage my hints.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my hints from my Ancestry member tree,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that I've already done 3 or 4 today of these records, but I want to take one and do it live
Mm-hmm.
so other people can see how we go. Now I normally start in the plan workspace because that's a workspace where we come into Family Tree Maker, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go over to the people workspace, and I have this guy whose name is Johnson Wallace, and I
Hmm.
can see, and I'll zoom in a few minutes,
Mm-hmm.
that there are 5 hints from Ancestry for this guy. But let's just, before I go there, I want to see what information that I already have from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know that it was in the 97th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment, and he was a Union soldier. And I
Mm-hmm.
made a note when I looked at those records that it appears that he died in the Civil War. That was a post that a to-do list item that I put in my database. My research log is here too, but
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that it looked like he might have died during the Civil War. So I'm going to follow up on that, and there are 5 hints here, and
Okay.
I'm going to just hover over that shaky leaf, and I'm going to click on the 5
Well,
ancestry hints
before
now.
you click, what you're trying to do. That little portion of your family tree maker is actually a view of your same tree over on ancestry.com. So
That is
you're
that is
still in the
correct.
program
I
and
am in. Yep,
okay, got it. So it's like a little viewing window. So you don't have to have two monitors or anything like that. You can
that's
actually be in family tree maker and on ancestry.com.
yep, that's
Okay.
correct. So I clicked on the shaky leaves, and it said that I had 5, and there are 5.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And here is the record group that I am looking for, the U.S. Civil War Pension Index, General Index to Pension Files. So I'm going to click on that link,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to take me to Ancestry.com. And let me point out that this view is a brand new experience. It
Oh, I
used,
read about this. Wow.
yes, here is what it used to look like, and that's why I'm doing this, because this was happening as I was working on my records. That's the old view.
Mm-hmm.
And and I want to preview it in the new view because what I really like about the new view, and this is, we're not talking about ancestry, we're talking about this record. But
Mm-hmm.
if I look down here, I can, the source information is right here on my screen,
Hmm.
and I have a way to print a blank form if I want to. But here is the record, and I'm going to view it, and hopefully you will be able to see it as well. And I clicked
Okay.
on view, and there it is. It's this is
Coming
the
in. There it
widow's
is.
name, and that is his name, his widow's name, and it's the 97th Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Infantry K Company. And here is the application number and the certificate number and the date. So that
Mm.
date is within the time of the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go back and look at what happens later, uh,
So there's no application number for the invalid. And because that's in the Civil War during this, well, then you're right. He did pass away.
yep. So a lot of hints
Oh.
right here. But one of the things that I noticed is that I cannot stay with this image on my screen when I merge this information from Ancestry into Family Tree Maker. So I'm going to go back, just back to this view. And what's interesting and what's important is that I can see down here in the bottom, the left side is what
Mm-hmm.
is in my database,
Mm-hmm.
and in the right side is what's in the Ancestry member tree. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, the index record that we're looking at.
Oh
And
yeah, right.
up at the top, and hopefully you can see my cursor floating around,
Yeah, I
his
do.
in my database says Eliza Jane
Mm-hmm.
Holohan is the name. So this says Eliza J. Wallace, which would be her married name. So everything looks correct where I look at my database on the left-hand side, what's Ancestry's telling me on the right-hand side, and I look
Mm-hmm.
up here and I can see that that's his spouse's name. And so now I know that this record is my guy's record. Now I'm going to click on the merge button, and what that's going to do is bring up a pop-up window that gives me some choices. My data is on the left-hand side. The
Mm-hmm.
information coming in from Ancestry is on the right-hand side. The two
Mm-hmm.
names are exactly the same, and I'm going to select discard. I have the option of either making an alternate fact or discard it, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to discard it because it's exactly the same, but it's going to bring in the citation for this
Oh, okay.
record and link it to his name. So I'm now going to click next, and now it's bringing up his wife. Now, right now, it's just comparing my
It's
tree
kind
on
of
the left.
it's fuzzy a little bit. Okay, it's coming in better now. Yeah.
The left-hand side is what's in my database. The right-hand side is what Ancestry is suggesting. And down at the bottom, I have an option that says merge with existing spouse in my tree. And you notice that her color changed to blue.
To blue.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to bring this data into my tree. And again, it gives me choices. This is what I have her full name in my database, but
Mm-hmm.
the record says Eliza J, and I want to keep that. I want to have what the record has along with its source, so it's going to be an alternative name for her. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to bring in the citation with on her name, and that's what I want. Now this is the next screen in the merge process, the last step, and the one that you have to pay attention to. You notice
Okay.
up at the top it says that it's got a media link, which is this image that you can see just to, you know that it's here.
It's a mini, yes, okay, got it.
So it's
So
just
the
a
link,
thumbnail.
yeah, thumbnail, and it links out. So in order for you to actually see the image, you'd have to be connected to the internet, right?
At this point, but what's going to happen when I
Oh,
merge, this image is going to come into my database.
oh, good. So
So
it actually brings the image down to your desktop computer from
yes,
ancestry.com.
that's
Okay.
absolutely correct. So, but this is a check mark. I make sure that it's there, and I
Was
see
it
the
there by
image.
default?
Yes, it is. It is there by
Oh, good.
default.
Okay.
So now I'm going to merge. Now this is going to take just a second or two, and what it's bringing in is that data and the image from Ancestry and bringing it into my database. And now it says it's done. I want to close this to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing that I want to do is go to the sources workspace, which is where the citation's going to be, because there's something new that has happened with Ancestry. Now I'm going to get down to where that record shows up, and I know where it is. It is Civil War pension, and there is the name, the two names that I brought in, and that's all that came in for fax into my database. But I want to show you something new that just happened today. May have happened last night, but I now am bringing on my screen what's in the reference note. What is brand new is sitting right there.
Accessed?
Yes. So the citation, and this just happened. I was working on this stuff last night. Access was not there. There was some downtime last night, and when I saw this morning, I got it. I couldn't. I'm glad I was sitting down when I saw it, because I was asking for this for a long time, to be more in compliant with Elizabeth Shown Mills Evidence Explained. So they now have a reminder for me to type in the date. So I'm going to put in to my citation 06 November, and I spell it out.
Yes.
So it is now in my citation.
Put a space there. Put a space after the word accessed.
Oh yeah, thank you. Good set of eyes. So I now have a citation. Now, one of the reasons what I will do next is move this citation into the template format. This is not a template format, but it's very close. And the fact that what I wanted to point out is the fact that they've added, or the reminder to me, if I look in this box, which is why I've blown it up the way I have, is that I can now put in the date that I access this record. So that's one of two reasons that I like the merge feature. The other feature is right here, called View Source Online. So if I can always go back and click on that link right there, and it'll take me right to that record that I saw earlier. Now, let me change my screen. Let me go over to the media workspace, just to show you. There is that image. So that image is now in my database. Now, I do other work on this image in the citation, which I've covered in earlier short subject video, but I want to talk a little bit more about what I'm going to do with the information that was on that record. So I've got the image, I've got the citation, and now I want to add more data to my guy, and I'm going to double click on his name, and I want to pick up some information. I picked on his wife, and the citation is right here on her name, because I want to make sure that I got it. Now I'm going to do one other thing right here. I'm going to, this is my research log.
Down
So
below.
I'm going to put 1106, and I picked this up from a hint from the Civil War pension index card.
Okay.
So
Now you're
that,
putting this on his name
no, this is on
because he was.
hers.
Oh,
This is on
okay.
hers. I'm on
Okay.
her because I picked up her name as it was
Mhm.
on that record, and there's the source. But I want to make a notation in my research log that, in fact, I did get information on today. So that's now my
Okay.
research log entry for her. Now, I just highlighted and copied that because I want to put that same research log entry down for him.
Okay. Got it.
So you can see that I've already got several other research log entries for him, including uh, the Civil War records and profile where I found the other information. So
Mm-hmm.
I've now entered the research log. Now, so far, the only thing I picked up, the only thing in my database on that record is his name. So I want to do a couple other things. I'm going to add uh, a military record
Mm-hmm.
as soon as catches up to me. Military service fact, and
You'll get there.
oh, come on, got too many things going here. Military service.
So I get why you're doing military service, even though he wasn't alive when his wife was getting the pension. If you didn't,
No, but
it indicates what his unit was.
right, and I have it above, but I want to put it in again because this record is telling me that he was in
Mm-hmm.
K97. If you won't remember that image, but it said K97 PAI. If I learned how to spell PAINF, is what it said.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have his
So
citation for his name. I want to pick up the. I'm copying this citation
mm-hmm.
because I want to know where I got this. Let me change the J to a K,
Precisely.
which it
Okay.
needs to be.
So he's in Company J, 97th Pennsylvania
Yep.
Infantry.
And I am going to click New, paste link to source index, and there is my image on that fact. So
So when you click on that fact line, up there comes the image with the citation attached to it.
yes, exactly. Now
Perfect.
there's two other things that I want to pick up on off this document. I have a certificate number. So
Okay.
the date on the record was 11/25/1864,
Yes.
and on the image it told me the number was, it was a widow, it was on the widow line, and the number was, uh,
And you're doing her final certificate number, which is
yes,
what we need. Yeah.
and that is the certificate number, but I also want to get the application number, which is another custom fact that I created
Yeah,
for
because
these
I didn't
records.
recognize application fact versus or a certificate fact. So,
Right, they were ones that I added
mm-hmm.
because I wanted to be able to see them uh, when I need them, and that's the same date, and it was again a widow file, and it was
Mm-hmm.
number 73468, and I'm also going to put the citation to that fact. So I added the two
Mm-hmm.
facts, and I have the citation on both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really captured everything that was on that record. But let me do one more thing. because suppose I want to go down to NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, and actually pull that record. So I'm going to put up a new task on my to-do list. I'm going to put Civil War pension.
Widow's pension.
Well, I'll show you how I handle that.
Oh, okay.
Pension, I'm going to put widow.
Oh, good.
I learned how to spell.
It's hard to type when everybody in the world's watching you, Cousin Russ.
Application. And it's number 73468. And I have a category called Civil War Pension category for this to-do list. I'm not quite done. I'm almost done because I also want to do Civil War pension, and I want to do widow, and I want to put certificate.
Which is how it's filed, so it'll be good.
I want both numbers with me.
Just in case, yeah.
So these now are on my to-do list under Civil War pension, and I want to click OK. So now I've captured everything, and including adding some new items, and I'll get your questions in a second. I want to go back to the planned workspace, and already you can see that I've got 10 records that I want to pull in. In fact, I forgot how I'd done this, but I will take away the word Civil War because I actually have the word Civil War in this category over here. So I now have the information that I would need to get down to NARA. Now I'll do another one of these.
So jealous you get to go. I live too far away.
But I'll do another video on what I would do with this information to go. But now I don't have to go back and think about it. I have it right here in my to-do list that I could print this, and I would actually print the images that I have in my file. I would bring those images in with me to take it with me when I go to NARA. So
excellent work.
Your questions.
So my question is, right now you haven't yet synced what you just brought into your family tree maker up to your ancestry member tree. So you still have to sync. So there's probably a white arrow pointing up, meaning you got to do that.
Yes, that is correct.
And then my second comment is this. I know that the index card is just an index that leads to an original file that you're going to get to later on. But if you had not known his death date, because you don't have a death certificate, you haven't seen the file yet, and it might take you 6-8 months before it's the next time you and Patty can go down to the National Archives, would you feel comfortable listing this Civil War index file for the widow's pension, stating as a death event where the source is this card and that he died before, and then insert the date of her application? How would you feel about that?
Well, let me let me bring up Family Tree Maker again.
Okay.
And maybe I can zoom in a little bit, and let me move my screen over a little bit. Okay. You'll see that I actually did have more information. I actually have his death date, and what this pension file did. Notice the pension file said 11/25, and the other record that I have, which was not necessarily a reliable source, told me it was the next day. So I have a one-day conflict, but I would look for other records. The other thing that I would do that we talked about with your cousin, a very distant cousin, JoJo, last night, is that I would now go to fold 3 and see what fold 3 has, because they will have something different than what Ancestry has. So I'm not done looking, but I have enough information about his military service already in the file. And for an example, he was a private when he went in, and he went in February 7th, 1862.
Let me ask you something right here. That is being sorted by fact type, not by date.
Yes, that is correct.
So it looks like he died the 26th of September, and the widow filed for certificate. Can you sort by date?
Well, actually, I can bring up a timeline.
Okay.
And the answer to your question is yes, I can sort by date. But I also have the timeline feature just one tab away. So, and with that, I also can bring in any family. So you can see there is a son, was a couple sons were born, and then he enlisted. He enlisted like a couple days after his youngest son was born. So
just barely, boy.
Yeah, I can sort by date. I just keep it sort by date.
So if you
by fact name.
But if you actually didn't know his death date, you would, and from previous some other record, and you just looked at this card and recognized names and company of his military unit, would you have put that in as a possible death date before the date of her application, or would you wait until you saw the file 8 months later?
I will wait till later. I won't put in what I don't know or what I haven't seen. But I have the hints. I have the hints right in front of me. In other words, I actually had his service record before I had the pension file.
Okay.
That's how I was very quickly able to know when I looked at that hint, that was my guy, because I already knew he was in.
Yeah.
I even had the question, and I'm going to clear that item on the to-do list. I said it appears that he was died during the Civil War, so that's what I gathered when I got these other facts. So it looked like he was in, so I made my note to myself, and that's why I also keep a research log that I should be looking for. I should be looking for a pension file, and I found it. But now I have a much easier task to go back to Fold 3 or to FamilySearch.org to see what they have, because I've got some more clues of where he was. I knew where he was. I know what company. I've got at least 2 documents telling me what his Civil War unit was. I could do the research that we talked about last night with JoJo, follow where that unit was during the Civil War, so I could do that research. But I wanted to handle this record that we've been having fun with. As a matter of fact, Patty found 2 since I've been talking about this. She found 2 for her family today. Following, she knew somebody was in the Civil War, so she followed her tree, and sure enough, she had 2 as well. So I just wanted to spend some time. Thank you for joining me and keeping me in line for watching these records, and I wanted to share how I handle this record group to add on to our conversation that's been going on by your Docu-Challenge.
Boy, you write a blog post here and there, and it's amazing what it unearths for people. And I have a feeling, since Patty also has some Civil War folks, that you'll be going to the National Archives before we know it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any other questions?
No, I have learned a lot. I'm very excited that Ancestry has put the word accessed in their citation layout to remind you to type that date in there. I like that you could not only bring in that source, but the document itself, and attach it to each of the individuals that it's related to. So thanks for sharing that.
Just to clarify one thing, it's the difference between Legacy, Roots Magic, and Family Tree Maker. That image is linked only to the citation. The citation is linked to the facts. So although I can see it, I can see the image, and I can open it from the fact, but the image itself is linked to the citation. The citation is linked to the facts.
Okay, so, in the person profile, right. I get it. Cool, I'm learning your technology.
All right, well, I'm going to close out with the closing screen. It'll be I open and close my screen with of what the topic is, and thank you so much for joining me and helping me pull this discussion together, and thank you for the Docu-Challenge.
Love it.